Client acquisition is by far the biggest issue that so many agencies face. Reason being, everyone teaches how to run ads for clients or how to optimize their website, but not actually how to sign these clients. So I'm going to go over my personal 4-pillar structure that I use in order to sign clients weekly, if not daily, so that my agency continues to grow. We did over $30,000 last month, and this is how you can copy it step by step. So first of all, we need to take a look at what your acquisition probably looks like right now. A lot of people think that acquisition is just the initial outreach to your prospects. So whether that be DMs, whether that be emails, whether that be cold calls, a lot of people think that this is where acquisition ends. But I want to tell you right now, this is actually where acquisition begins. And if you do not have a process for after these people are actually outreached and these people are interested and they come to your page or they look at your website or anything like that, if there's nothing after this initial market penetration, you are not going to sign these clients. A lot of people expect clients here to actually close once you get the outbound, but this is just our entry point. You need to get rid of this belief that clients should close from outreach, and you need to believe that your outreach is just your entry point for your actual ecosystem. So this is just one lever of the whole process. As you can see right here, I made this web for you. Everything is color coordinated. You can see exactly where it goes. Pause the video at certain points and watch and pay attention. Acquisition starts here. Before we even do the outbound or the inbound, there are different pillars that we need to have kind of set up. Category of positioning, niche authority assets, value ladder, and client scorecard. So these different things will just give us authority and leverage to our actual outbound and inbound conversions. So once these people are either reached out to or come in, we can go through all these different systems that will actually bring them closer to closing, whether that be going through paid ads, whether that be going through different landing pages or funnel magnets. Each of these are so critically important to closing the client. We don't just want to get them to see our message. We want them to see our message, feel engaged, come back to our page, be re-engaged later, and eventually get on a call with us so that we can pitch them and close them. And if they don't close on that call, what are we going to send them after that call to re-nurture them and get them to close later on? So whether that be objection handling, your testimonials, your pre-call framing, and everything like that, it's all so important. The way that your Instagram is set up, the way that your TikTok account might be set up, the YouTube videos that you're actually posting, the content, whether it's top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, how you are getting these people to DM you and call to action, right? Whether it's through story sequences or all these different things, we need to have these different channels set up so that your clients are coming in, whether they're cold or whether they're warm, and they're able to close because of the amount of value that you've actually provided them. So like I said before, just pulling this one lever, it's not a full system. You could be doing 100, you could be doing 1,000 outreaches a day. But if you don't have this system after the initial outbound right here to follow up with it, look at how much you're missing out on and you wonder why you're not closing clients. But the problem is this system has never been shown online before. This is completely new information that I have not been able to find through YouTube, and you won't be able to find it anywhere else because I created this system and I'm the only person that has put it into a visualization like this. So please just watch. What you are at right now is the one wing problem. Imagine you're flying a plane, or at least you're trying to fly a plane, but you only have, this is my plane right here, you only have one wing. How long do you think that wing is actually going to keep the plane in the air? How long do you think this plane will be able to fly? Can you get it off the ground with enough speed and enough, effort and propellant and fuel, aka your outreaches, right? Say you're doing 1,000 a day, will you be able to maybe sign 1 or 2 clients? Of course you will. Of course you will, but the problem is it's not consistent, and that plane is never going to stay in the air without its other wing. And that other wing is, like I said, the rest of this system. So when we look at this full ecosystem, I said there were 4 pillars. Josh, you just showed me, whatever the hell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different levels to this. What are the actual 4 main pillars for us to look at? Number 1, direct market penetration. Like I just said, this is going to be your outreach. This is going to be actually the way that your clients are seeing, or your prospecting clients are going to be seeing your messages. They're going to be seeing your page. They're going to become interested, and we're just capturing their attention. That's the whole point. Next is going to be our authority architecture. This is going to be what makes clients trust us. People buy off trust. Why are they going to trust us, and how are we going to show that they should trust us? That is so important and overlooked. Next is going to be the amplification layer. This is basically just taking what's already working and making it larger, whether that through paid ads or all these different systems that I'm actually going to go over but how we can take what's already working and amplify it. Next is going to be the compounding network effect, and this one will almost happen on its own. And this is just going to be through a bunch of different systems to take what we're already doing and basically make it work for us. So instead of this is active, this is not, this is something you have to set up, but it will continue to work on its own. This one is active, and this one is something you have to set up, but will kind of work on its own. So do you see how these all kind of relate to each other and work with each other in different ways? That's what makes it an ecosystem, is everything together flows. When you do step 1 well, step 2 will look better. When you do step 2 well, step 4 will look better. When you do step 3, step 1 will look better. Everything works in conjunction with itself. So pillar number 1 right here is going to be direct market penetration. Like I said, I'm not going to go over every single thing here in depth. You can pause it, you can screenshot, you can do whatever you need to, go after this on your own, but direct market penetration right here. So DMs, cold emails, cold calls, just prospecting in general. There is so much behind each of these individual boxes that I have here. I could make an entire video on every single one. I could do an entire video just on frameworks, just on sequencing, just on our trigger events. But that's not the point. The point is just for me to open your eyes here and show you the actual potential with your outreach and your acquisition in general. How if you're just following one part of this 4-pillar system, if you're just doing 1 pillar or 2 pillars, you are never going to see the amount of success that you expect, right? And we need to change the way that we think. We don't want to think like a normal person. We want to think like the people who are trying to become. That is one of the biggest limiting factors that I see in so many people, is they're still stuck thinking like an agency that's doing 5 to 8K a month. We don't want to think like those agencies. We don't want to think like an agency that's doing 20 or 30K a month. What levers can we pull that are actually going to increase our close rates, that are going to save us time, that are going to make us money? Because there are 2 currencies that you can think about. There is money and there is time. You can always make more money. You can never ever make more time. So spend your money and spend your energy on what's going to save you time, instead of trying to find out what's going to make you the most money. When you set the system up, not only is it going to make me money, but it's a byproduct of saving me so much time. I can sign 100 clients in 2 months off of really hammering the system. That's going to save me years of effort from only doing 1 pillar, right? So pillar number 2 is going to be our authority architecture. This one is probably the most important. Yes, it's important to get people through the door, but what happens once they come through the door, right? We want them to be in our content funnel, whether that's through our story sequences or our pre-call frameworks, right? All these different things, what our offer looks like, what our story sequences look like, how we're getting them to call to action, some case studies that we're doing. Do we have a risk reversal in place on our offer so they feel like there's absolutely zero risk for them to sign with us? Each one of these, like I said, can be its own system. And you guys might understand the initial, box here, and that it makes sense. I know what a content funnel is. I know what pre-call framework is, but making sure every single one of these is dialed. You need to be tracking everything. I tell people to track all the time, and they don't understand what I mean, but when I make you a tracking sheet and you see every box and every column and every row that you actually need to fill out, you start to realize I am not tracking as much as I need to be. The reason that tracking is so important is because when you know exactly where the fall off is in the process, then you know exactly, look, if this is our process here, where's the biggest fall off, right? We see 2 big fall offs. One right here, where we're getting from 10 to 5, and one right here, we're going from 3 to 0. Now that we've identified these bottle marks, we fix them one by one. Fix this, right? So now we're going 10, 8, say 8 to 6, 6 to 5, 5 to 0 again, right? This is next week, right? This is week 1, this is week 2. You can fill in whatever you want. This is outreaches, booked calls, call shows, however you want to do it. But now we see this is our second bottleneck still. So it wasn't just a volume problem. It wasn't that we had a low close rate. It's that we literally cannot close even with higher volume, right? So if we increase this, fix this bottleneck, now we can go from 5 to 3 closes, right? So see why tracking is so important? Without knowing these numbers and putting this into perspective to actually visualize where we're falling off in this whole process, you're not able to know what you need to fix. And when you don't know what to fix, how do you ever expect to make progress? So now that the people that are actually coming in through our direct market penetration are getting nurtured through our authority architecture, right? Whether our content funnels, our offer, our story sequences, our pages. Like I said, each one is so important. The flows that we're sending before the actual call. This is where we're going to go into amplification. So amplification is going to be going through paid traffic, retargeting, authority campaigns, tracking, and attribution. Like I said, so whether this is through CRMs or whether this is through the meta ads that you're running on your pixels, each one of these is going to pretty much amplify what we're already doing. Like I said, I mean, it speaks for itself, the amplification layer. So authority creates proof, and amplification is going to scale that proof. So when you have outbound and your authority, you get your foundation, but your amplification is going to be your multiplier in this case. So do step 1, do step 2. Yes, you will get 10 clients, right? But if you do 1 plus 2 plus 3, now you're at 20 clients. So depending on your level and your scale and what you need to be at, you need to do each step accordingly. You need to put each pillar in place and make sure that they are all, working right. But if you look here, all of this goes right back to our pillar 2, whether it's retargeting, whether it's our paid traffic, whether it's our authority campaigns. It brings them right back to our profile. And what they're able to see on our profile is our authority. They're able to get nurtured. They're able to spend more time understanding what we're selling, understanding how it works, understanding the results that we've gotten from people. And that, again, is building the big word of trust. People are buying off of trust. Do you see how this is starting to kind of flow between each other and come right back here to our trust? Now, Pillar 4 is the most complicated kind of. I try to color coordinate it a little bit more. We'll see green means direct revenue that we're able to make, and red is indirect revenue that will later become direct revenue. So Pillar 4 is going to be our compounding network effect. So for example, win-back campaigns from clients who never closed, right? How we're able to go through past leads or churn clients, we're able to run reactivation sequences. Basically, just running ads or sending out messages or running campaigns that are going to get clients who didn't pay us to come back and pay us now. So the client ascension path. This is probably the one that's going to make you the most money and where everything is going to flow into the most, just because you're able to do upsells, your back-end offers, your high-ticket moves, things like that. Basically, client wins are going to generate more marketing fuel for yourself. And you'll see here, the referral engine, your scripts will lead back into high-ticket moves. Your incentives will lead right back into back-end offers and upsells. Your reactivation sequences will go right back into upsells and high-ticket moves. Every single thing here is working with the other parts of the system to make you money. This is how I see the agency, and this is the difference between the way that I run it and the way that everyone else is running it. And that's why I'm able to show you the way the process works, because there's a difference between understanding the system and understanding how it works and executing the system. It's not the same. Just because you have the system installed doesn't mean that you're going to execute it the right way. But when you do execute it the right way, you get predictability. And predictability is really what we're chasing. But clarity does not equal execution, and system installed does not always equal predictability. You need to understand it and have clarity in order to make the money with it consistently. So yeah, back here, social proof flywheel, whether it's your testimonials, your screenshots, your client shout outs, whatever it is, they're feeding into your content and your story sequences, which once again, look, bring this right back up here, make you more money with your amplification. This, come over here, make you more money because it's feeding back into your pillar 2, which is your authority and your content, more client wins that you have, more results or testimonials or spoken or shout outs or anything like that is feeding right back into this pillar. Do you see why this one client is the hardest to get? Once you get your first client, when you have absolutely nothing, 0 story sequences, 0 client wins, 0 testimonials, 0 proven offer frameworks, 0 structure in place, you have absolutely nothing. Getting that first client is always going to be your hardest. Once you get that first client, look at the doors that open for you. Story sequences, optimize Instagram, landing pages, pre-call frameworks, YouTube videos, testimonials, results, proven offer, proven call funnel. All of this comes right into your lap, basically, when you set it up the right way. And when you plug it all together, this is the framework that you're allowing yourself to have, right? You're able to sign 10 clients now instead of just 1. So community layer, whether it's private group chats or masterminds or ecosystem lock-ins, whatever it might be, this is what that really looks like. So all of it feeds back into itself. So I want to talk about what the issue is here. People might be doing 1 or 2 levers in isolation. Yes, you might be posting content, which is fundamentally important. Yes, you're sending DMs, which is fundamentally important. Yes, you're running ads, which is fundamentally important. But when they don't plug back into anything, we are just losing out on money. If posting content, if the running ads isn't flowing back into your posting content, which isn't flowing back into the sending of the DMs, which isn't flowing back right in. Without the actual system in place right here, it doesn't matter how many of these levers you're pulling when they don't plug into each other. You will never break past that 20, 30, or even 100K mark with just pulling one or two levers. And that's the real difference. Someone who's at 20K has multiple systems in place. Someone who's at 30K has multiple systems in place. Someone who's doing 100K has these systems in place. And if you want to reach these levels, you have to implement them yourself. This is what it really looks like. You start with your outbound. Your outbound is here to start conversations. That's the only goal of your outbound. Your outbound isn't meant to close. Your outbound isn't meant to, pitch in the DMs. Your outbound is just meant to start conversations. Your conversations will be turned hopefully from engaging outreach messages, good offers, good hooks, something that you're able to bring these people to your page. Your page is here to have authority. Even if they're being redirected to a landing page or your website or even just your Instagram page is here to create authority. What authority is going to do is convert that attention, right? We don't just want eyes on us, we want eyes on us that care about us, right? So converting the attention is going to be so important. Now that we have this attention, we need to amplify it. Now that you amplify the attention, whether that's through ads, whether that's through everything that we went through here, I'll literally just scroll back. So whether it's through your campaigns, your retargeting, your ads, your paid profile funnels, and your VSL, even if you want to run them. I don't like VSL ads, but you can run them too. Amplification, everything is meant to scale. That's the whole point. Now that we're scaling, we plug in our network effects and we compound our growth. Now that our growth is compounding, everything here has 10 times the effect that it did before, right? If someone comes to my page when I have 1 client versus someone comes to my page when I have 10 clients, I am going to have way more authority after I have the 10 clients. Why? Because I'm posting proof, social proof, time and time and time again. They're going to see 10 client results every single week because I have 10 clients. That's going to build more trust when I send the outreaches, right? It's going to build more trust when I run these ads. It's going to build more trust when I get referrals. It's going to build more trust when they see my pages, right? Everything just builds trust and leads to getting clients. So with this entire system in place, I could probably make a video on each and every single one of these separate pillars and sections and how they can work and how you can implement them. But all together, when you run the full ecosystem from direct market penetration to authority architecture, amplification layer, compounding network effect, you have all of your systems in place for acquisition, your inbound and your outbound, the differences between the two, how your retargeting is going to go into nurture and go into win back campaigns and progressive guarantees, how everything works together to actually get your clients. When you have it set up as a system, an ecosystem that flows into itself, and everything is a positive feedback loop, creating more opportunities and more clients and more closing for you, you will start to make money. You can take your agency from $5,000 to $8,000 in average revenue to over $20,000 to $30,000 just by implementing a good acquisition system. I know people who have scaled to over $100,000 in 6 months just from implementing good acquisition systems. They couldn't even do the fulfillment, right? And fulfillment is a plug and play system. We already know that. So when you set the acquisition up properly and everything flows in itself and you actually understand how it works, you're not just installing a system without executing it the right way. You need to know how it works, execute it the right way, and have the system properly installed in order to get this predictability. And with this predictability, you can do anything. I promise. So if you guys want to learn more about this system, you want to get the 4-part acquisition funnel literally put right into your business with you, with my help, send me a DM on Instagram, check out my pages and everything like that. Other than that, I appreciate you. I'll talk to you all in the next one, and I hope you learned something that you can implement today.